Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Transformers fans everywhere, welcome back. LPS, Last Prime Speculator, here to bring you some education for Lorenzo di Bonaventura. We're going to focus on Orion Pax. Orion Pax and how he becomes Optimus Prime. If you're new to this channel, make sure to consider subscribing, turn on all notifications. Don't forget to like and share this video. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Prime Speculator. I'm going to give you a couple of my favorite personal stories of Orion Pax and how he became my hero, Optimus Prime. Since Lorenzo di Bonaventura says that there's no ideas, stories, and Optimus being too hard to make a solo movie, I took that very personally. And here is the stories that I think that they could focus on, take ideas from, and create the Optimus Prime Origins Movie. After the Bumblebee movie, of course. I hope you guys enjoy this.
You super cop. Optimus Prime was forged under the name Orion Pax of Icon. Noted to be an unusual large newborn, his forging was witnessed by the storyteller, Alpha Trion, who felt the young bot would one day be the subject of great stories. From a young age, Pax excelled into intellectual pursuits, graduating from the Institute of Higher Programming and enrolling into the Academy of Science and Technology. While the religious quarters, he proved to be skeptic, doubting the existence of the fabled Knights of Cybertron. He went to become a rising star in the Cybertron police force, who served as an inspiration to his fellow officers, eventually becoming a captain of the Rodden police force. He was notably liberal in his duties, even convincing his old academy friend, Ratchet, to run a free clinic in the city's dead end. Orion soon became a commander of a 6th bot insurgency, until working directly under Zeta Prime. Though he had grown angry and detached from his experiences, during a mission to arrest a arms dealer, Swindle, in Nyan, he lost his temper and almost beat the Decepticon to death in front of horrified onlookers. He later admitted to Ultra Magnus that he was frustrated with the failures of uncertainty, if they really are on the right side, since many civilians seem to hate the current government. Brought to a bar in Kion, Orion listened as Megatron tried to talk to him about siding with the Decepticons, claiming that Zeta was planning to drain the energon from the civilians and only had sent Orion's team in Nyan in hopes that he would die, giving him an official reason to attack the city. Orion had stalled the conversation long enough that his allies could break in and rescue him and Bumblebee, then returned to Icon to confront Zeta with Megatron's claims. Zeta only not told him to question his motives before sending him on the next mission to capture the insurgent Hot Rod. Trekking Hot Rod to Acroplex in Nyan, Orion and his fellow men followed him to the depths in the building, where they had discovered the track of energon drained from the city's population by Zeta Prime, just as Megatron had claimed. Having seen the truth of his own eyes, Orion decided to turn the corrupt government as Zeta began attacking Nyan with his Omega Destructors. As the soldiers invaded Zeta Prime, Orion and Megatron were airdropped into his chamber and confronted him in person. Though Orion lost his arm in the battle, he managed to destroy Zeta's weapon, and the corrupt Prime was finally killed by Megatron. As soon as everything was over, Megatron betrayed the Autobots and shot Orion in the back, casting him to the undergrid beneath the Citadel. Left for dead, Orion was dragged towards a distant light, which turned out to be a hiding place of the long-missing Matrix of Leadership. As the voice called out to him, he discovered he was suddenly overcome with pain, fear, and loneliness felt by the living Cybertronians. Imbued with the new clarity of wisdom, he realized that the Autobots were not meant to fight for unity, since the eye of the Matrix was speaking to him, till all are one, but rather with the freedom of all sentient beings. As the Matrix repaired his body, Orion declared that he was giving up his identity for his people. He was now Optimus Prime. Guided by the Matrix to the ruins of Nyan, Optimus reunited his allies and amidst the wreckage, revealing the Matrix of leadership and its new goals and a desire to all his friends. Orion Pax Dockworker, Transformers cartoon. Optimus Prime began his life as an Autobot named Orion Pax during the golden ages of Cybertron, 9 million years ago. Orion was a dock worker at a storage yard who had a simple job of unloading and storing shipments of energy that came in the power plant up the river. But the times of Orion lived in strange ones. A new breed of robot had recently appeared on the planet, with strange robotic fight powers that led Orion to idolize them. Having heard the rumors of the flying robot leaders had recently prepared the attack on the outer city. One day, Orion was going to work, and when a usual unfamiliar group of 5 robots arrived at the dock, and Orion was wondering if they were new workers. Orion would introduce himself and his friends. At that moment, all attention towards the Sky Ward, as the group of the flying robots scored overhead. Orion and the newcomers urged the caution in dealing with the Flyers, but Orion waived his concerns and returned to work. Before long, Orion was shocked when he was approached by Megatron, the leader of the flying robots, who claimed to be looking for a place to store his wares. Overcome, Orion showed Megatron around the warehouse and explained that they were used for storing energy, at which point Megatron ordered his followers, the Decepticons, to attack and steal it. When Orion took a shot in the shoulder from the Decepticon leader, Ariel rushed out to his defense, but was hit by another blast from Megatron. The enraged Orion lunged at Megatron, but was shot down by another blast from the Decepticon cannon. While Megatron and his troops set out to pillage the warehouse, the 5 robots Orion had met earlier carried his body away, in hopes of finding someone to repair him. They came upon the Cybertronian machine smith, Alpha Trion, who recollectually decided to subject Orion to a new reconstruction process he had been developing, which was to rebuild the Autobots' frame body into battle Harley configurations so that they could battle the Decepticons on an even footing. Thus it was Orion Pax became Optimus Prime, the new leader of the Autobots, in which had given the Matrix leadership, which Alpha Trion had kept safe since Megatron had killed the previous holder. While Alpha Trion set work rebuilding Ariel into Elita 1, using the Prime schematics as a basis, Prime confronted Megatron, introducing himself as the Decepticons' worst nightmare. A mighty battle would pursue, which came at the end of the warehouse. Fuel stockpiles were blown up by the 5 Autobots, who disappeared. At some point after receiving the Matrix, Optimus learned to live with the pressure that came from the responsibilities of leadership. Orion Pax, the Librarian, the Covenant of Primus. Optimus Prime was created as the last of the 13, the first generation of Transformers, each created directly by Primus as a brand of unique warriors to combat and defeat Unicron. Upon his creation, Optimus is united by the 13 by his greetings, "Till all are one." While the other members of the 13 each possessed unique abilities and artifacts, Optimus wielded no special powers or weapons. It was only through his vision and encouraging words that allowed the 13 to finally defeat Unicron. In the era that followed, Optimus serves as a mediator and a voice of the reason among the increasing argumental group of Primes. When these conflicts and power plays finally boiled over the death of Solus Prime, the Primes descended into full conflict against one another. Optimus emerged mostly unharmed from the final conflict that split the 13. However, upon the activation of the Well of Sparks, Optimus chose to enter the Well of Sparks and reborn as a lesser Cybertronian in order to know and understand their needs better. Before doing so, he asked Alpha Trion to remove all the references to his name from the Covenant of Primus, so that he could not find them unless it's in the most dire of circumstances. Carrying the damaged Onyx Prime, and accompanied by Micronus Prime, Optimus bid farewell to his brothers, and announced that the era of the Primes had ended. The 3 of them would enter the activated well, which began producing new mechanical life. Among the many humanoid Cybertronians that emerged from the well was Orion Pax, a humble bot with no memory of his previous life. Alpha Trion recognized what he had once been his fellow Prime, and made a note to keep an eye on him for later. Orion eventually moved to the city of Iacon, where he found work as a librarian in the newly established Hall of Records, under Alpha Trion's watchful eye. During the Age of Wrath, Orion Pax became Alpha Trion's aide. Orion eventually became friends with Jazz, a member of the underground resistance movement that had formed against the Quintessons. When the Cybertronians finally rebelled against the Quintessons, Orion confided to Alpha Trion that there may have been more than one variety of Quintessons. Alpha Trion told him that he needed to keep his knowledge a secret to aid the war effort, and he needed to pass on those orders to every officer in person. Ultra Magnus served as a bodyguard. Though the duo faced many hardships along the way, Orion Pax eventually fulfilled his mission. When the Quintessons were finally routed from the system, Orion was presented to a witness to the activation of the first space bridges, which heralded the arrival of the Cybertron's Golden Age. After the Golden Age, Sentinel Zeta Prime's caste system became increasingly oppressive. Orion developed a friendship with a gladiator named Megatron. The two sought to revitalize the Cybertronians' rigged caste system. Although they differed in their ideas, they remained friends until a fateful meeting with the High Council, in which Orion was to be named the next Prime, Optimus Prime. Consumed by jealousy, Megatron and his Decepticons declared war on Optimus and his fellow Autobot followers.
So hope you guys enjoyed my favorite stories of Orion Pax and how he became my hero, Optimus Prime. I feel this could help Lorenzo di Bonaventura in making an Optimus Prime movie, which me and so many fans want and are craving. If you're new to this channel, make sure to consider subscribing, turn on all notifications. Don't forget to like and share this video. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Prime Speculator. This way, you can stay updated with all my Transformers speculation, spoilers, news, and all that good stuff. To my subscribers, I love you so much. This is LPS here to bring you another video. Peace.